What is up, my good people of the internet? That intro that we got to make over the past few months here, last year, coming out of last year, I dance in the studio every time I see it. So I need to have a camera, or we need to do an outtakes or something at the end of the year where it shows how I react to that intro. So I hope you're all having a great, great morning this morning. Hope you're being safe. Hope you're being well. Inside of monpauspopcorn.com. So what's popping? We have a great show set up here for you today. Fantastic guests, wonderful people. We're going to start things off with Gabby Holko joining me from Susquehanna, the Riverhawks women's basketball head coach. We met years ago at Marywood University, my alma mater, and she had a ton of success there in the season that she was there. I will never forget being invited into the locker room and to get to see the excitement and just enjoying in that celebration with her team. Then she goes to Susquehanna and has had so much success there. This season is no different than that. 12-7 at the time that we're talking right now, and plenty of games to go and plenty of opportunity to be had. So Gabby will be joining us picture in picture from Pennsylvania. Then we'll jump in hour number 2 around 10 a.m. Eastern time with a bonus dolphin dive in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Moyne College Dolphins. Tracey Roman, the Moyne Dolphins softball head coach, will be joining me to speak on the fact that for the first time ever, the team is going to have their own press box. It was delivered recently, and they're setting everything up for this upcoming season, and we'll speak on that upcoming season shortly with Tracey Roman. And we'll round out the show as we always do on a Tuesday with the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the people at Avicolli's that put together such amazing food and wonderful service. And of course, that positive segment coming to you every single week with a new topic and the ingredients to success to help you on your way. So with that being said, let me bring in my first guest of today, picture in picture, Miss Gabby Holko. Gabby, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Dan. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, and always happy to have you. Always great to have you here on the show. Like we talked about off the air, it's been a minute, but you're one of those people, one of those friends that when I don't talk to you for, it could be a year, it could be a day, it could be a few months, but always rooting for you. I hope you feel that positive energy because I'm always sending it your way. But every time that we get to talk, it feels like we talked like the day before. I don't know if you feel that way, but I feel like no time passes when we get to talk again.
I absolutely feel that way, Dan. I know that you're always supporting me from afar. Obviously, we met, well, now it's 6 years ago, when I was at Marywood for that one season. And I think you welcomed me into that community so well. As soon as I got the job, really. I mean, you called me that day to kind of get on and talk about your alma mater. And then obviously, we have kind of kept in our friendship and talked hoops, talked life, talked everything for the last 6 years. So I'm super grateful for you. I'm super grateful for this platform that you have, and you really support not just sports, but like women's sports in general. And I think that that's something that's super special, especially right now. Women's basketball is booming. So it's really cool to see. And I'm excited to chat with you today.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. And I was actually having this conversation last night over dinner. I said now it's either forced upon people or they have no. The covering women's athletics. It's either you have to do this, you got to pretend that you like it. Now it's important. We're going to spotlight this. Where I started my career saying when we did the before it was called MU Courtside, when we did the game and they said, hey, we're going to try and do this, and I said men's and women's, and they said, well, definitely men's, and I said I'm not doing it unless we do men's and women's. And
Yep.
I was willing to put that out on the line and say, if we're not doing both, then I'm not doing it. So,
Right.
because how do you go to a women's game and set up a broadcast in front of the women and say, oh, no, 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 this isn't for you. We're going to be doing this for the men's game, but we're just here early to set up because they were double headers. So, I always say that when you actually care about something, you don't need somebody to push you into doing it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
women's athletics is it's meaningful to me because I don't see men's and women's athletics. I just see really good coaches and really good people. You have fallen in love with this sport. It's something that I tell people this all the time in any walk of life. You either think you love it or you actually love it.
Hmm.
Why do you love coaching women's basketball?
Yeah, that's obviously just a question that could go so many different ways. basketball for me was life, and it still is. I mean, I obviously said in my wedding vows that ball is life, and it always will be. But at the same time, I think this sport has given me so much. I grew up inner city Pittsburgh. First time I touched a basketball was third grade. I transferred schools from being in a public school to a Catholic school. Met a coach, Kelly Flatley, and had signups, and I brought it home to my mom, and my mom was like, "Are you sure? Like you played baseball, softball?" Well, really, it was baseball at the time. And I was super clumsy, still am. And I brought it home, and my mom was like, "All right, let's try it out." And that moment right there, I think, especially having such a strong female head coach with Kelly, she was a young woman at that time, coaching at a Catholic grade school from third grade to eighth grade. And I played from third to eighth with her as my head coach. And then I went on to Mount Alvernia and played for another very strong independent woman in Dee Perusnik, who was a phenomenal, well-known women's basketball coach in PA. Was the only coach Mount Alvernia had from the time they opened till they closed. And then I left after I graduated there. I went to Westminster College and I played for another strong female head coach in Roseanne Scott. So I've had a lot of strong females in my life that on the basketball side of things, which is very rare. I mean, I obviously recruit kids daily, and the amount of women that are coaching women right now, I think it's on the rise again, but it has definitely fallen off a little bit. So being able to have three very strong independent women coaches in my life in my basketball career has really kind of shaped who I am, and I think basketball was always that calming factor for me. So even from high school to college to even now, like when I'm having a bad day, the best thing that I want to do is put headphones in and go in a basketball gym, be there by myself, dribbling the basketball, shooting the basketball, or just sitting and watching hoops. I mean, it's just that calming factor. I call it my therapy. But I think that we all love it
Yeah.
for different reasons. I think it brings a different competitive side of you to you. And I say all the time, it saved my life. I grew up, like I said, inner city Pittsburgh, and I've had a lot of different kids I grew up with take a different path in life than I did. And I think that one, my home life, my mom, I mean, my family kept me in line, but also basketball kept me in line because I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be a coach from a very young age. I knew that basketball was what I wanted to do in college. So I knew I couldn't follow the same lines as a lot of people that I grew up with, and I needed to kind of keep my head on straight. And basketball helped me do that. And that's something that I'm forever grateful for. And I'm super grateful for the opportunity that basketball has given me in life. I say I have the best job in the world. It's stressful at times, it's emotional at times, it's angering at times. And I think coaching is the best career that you could possibly have. I think it's the most you get to truly help people grow into who they are going to be as an adult. I say all the time I'm teaching life through basketball, and I don't think every student athlete that comes through our program is going to agree with me 100% of the time. And I think that we're going to have a lot of hard conversations. But at the end of the day, I just want our any kid that comes through our program to be happy and to find their happiness. And basketball is tough because we play five kids. And we have a roster right now. We started this year with 19. We're at 14 right now. I think a big thing with that is just the game is ever evolving, but it is still it's at the most competitive time right now. And as we just talked about, women's basketball is booming, and that's something that I'm super excited about. Just to be able to see it on TV, you turn on ESPN and there's a women's game on, and that wasn't the case even when I was growing up. So it's really
Yeah.
cool to see for this younger generation of females in women's basketball players to be able to say like, okay, I can turn this on and I see Caitlin Clark, right? I see Dawn Staley. You
To
see
see.
all of these great people in women's basketball, and it's something that is really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you brought it up, basketball being booming, people seeing it. I mean, I've had conversations with people that I think, they think this isn't true. They think it couldn't possibly happen. They look at you like you have three heads when I say to them, when I was growing up, there was no women's games on. They're in the women's tournament, in the Division 1 women's basketball tournament, you would have to look in the newspaper
Yep.
to see who won because the men's game was like carried everywhere and there was everything going on. Now, granted, they didn't have like every single game. They didn't play the play-in games or show the play-in games, but the men's were on television. There was games that were on TV. The women's game, until the championship game, there was nothing. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I remember being in my parents' bathroom growing up, grabbing the newspaper because my dad had it in that bathroom, and I grabbed the newspaper and I'm looking through it and I'm looking like in the corner and saying like, okay, like I didn't even know the women's tournament's starting right now. I mean, I was a kid, and I mean, how crazy is that to think back and say that during the postseason for women's basketball, we didn't get to see how anybody got to the championship. We would only see the championship game. Hence why, if you asked people if they knew anything about women's basketball, they would say UConn, Gino Auriemma, and they would say Pat Summitt of Tennessee. Those
Yep.
were the things that people knew. Most people knew UConn. Some people knew UConn and Tennessee, but that was it.
Yep.
And I mean, I just, Gabby, I mean, that was life. And I can't express that to people enough. You're like, oh, well, I'm so happy I get to see every game. I'm like, I'm happy I get to see any game. I mean,
Yeah, I
Caitlin
think.
Clark would have never been on television when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I'm super excited about the times changing and women's basketball getting the promotion and the airtime that it deserves. It's not that it needs it, it deserves it. Especially with how many great women's programs are out there, how many great women players are out there. I mean, just talking about like a big game last week that we watched, our girls watched. I mean, LSU versus South Carolina. It's a could potentially be a Final Four game. And just being able to see it back and forth, all the great players that are out there, Angel Reese, Haley Van Lith, um, Cardosa. I mean, you have all of these people and women that are just setting the stage for all of these young girls that are watching and growing up and falling in love with basketball. And you look at all these games, I mean, any game Iowa's playing is sold out, right? Like these tickets, like the most expensive ticket, I think for the last, I can't remember, I think it was the LSU and South Carolina game. It's $1,300, right? Like it's pretty cool to see that from a women's game standpoint. But it's super exciting for women's basketball. I'm excited about it, obviously, because this is my life. But at the same time, just excited for the younger generations to not have to be in that boat where we were growing up, where you didn't see women's anything. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited for this year's Final Four. We go every year because it's in tune with our convention. It's in Columbus, Ohio this year, or no, Cleveland, Ohio this year. Um, yeah, Cleveland. Sorry, I'm blanking out.
Mhm.
Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm excited to see what four teams are going to be there because there is a lot of good women's basketball programs out right now.
Yeah, and I think last year, the not I think I know. I mean, last year the excitement of what we got to see and just the differences in personalities, the differences in styles, all kind of clashing and coming together, and the way that things are, and then it brought out the competitive nature in me because I grew up playing basketball my whole life. That how I would have responded. What type
Mhm.
of player would I be? Because I know people talk about how everybody reacted and this and that, and Angel coming up, a few seconds left, and kind of taunting, and I was like, I'm the most peaceful person in the world, but if somebody did that to me during a national championship, somebody would have had to grab me. Like, I mean, that's, but you go into that moment, and it was so fiery, and it was back and forth, and it was fierce, and I mean, I literally sat on the edge of my bed. So when people say on the edge of their seat, I sat on the edge of my bed, had the TV on, had Lily there, had some chips and queso, and I'm just watching this game. My only issue with the women's championship game was like, why is it in the middle of the day? So I mean, that was my only issue. I'm like, this is an 8 o'clock prime time game. I mean, this should be there, and you're watching it in the middle of the day, but at the same time, it was such a good game. And it was so exciting. And when you see like a crowd and it's full, like you said, the amount of the price of tickets and all this stuff, like it makes me happy because, like I said, I started my career feeling like I was trying to get people to come a little bit earlier to the doubleheaders and watch the women's game.
Right.
I felt like I was trying to sell women's basketball. I was trying to tell people like, no, it's still basketball. It's great. We have great team. We have a great people. We have a great coach. Like I was pushing and pushing and pushing to get people to give it a chance. So to start my career in 2003 saying, can you please just give it a chance? to now people going like, oh, this is my favorite player. I want to get this jersey. Hearing guys talk about like, do you have any Caitlin Clark cards? I want to go get one. Like, you know, and I go back and I tell people like Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo, like I go Cheryl Swoops. I go back to when the WNBA was starting, and you're seeing these women finally get an opportunity. Women that, you know, had graduated, they were older, and it's like, well, I got to take this chance. I never thought there'd be a place for me to play. So then they go and play in the WNBA. Like, there's so much to be said about where things have gotten to, and the fact that I feel like now when I go into a conversation, someone's saying, did you see this? Did you see that game last night? As opposed to me like begging someone to say, can you just realize that it's, because I had somebody tell me this before, and I'm sure that this will upset a lot of people listening, probably you too, is they say, well, I don't watch women's basketball because it's not basketball. Like, I watch men's basketball, but I don't watch women's basketball because it's different. And I was like, no, it's not. I said, if you're saying that it's more fundamentally sound, if you're saying that they work the ball around more, if you're saying that they set screens and do things and like actually looks like the basketball I grew up playing, I can respect the women more in a lot of cases because it's not 1-on-5,
Right.
and it's actually a team sport where I feel like they're developing something on offense. They're doing something on defense that looks like something I learned. The fundamentals of women's basketball attracts me all the time because I get overly frustrated in men's basketball when it's every man for himself. Sometimes.
Right. Yeah, I think too. I think seeing things develop here at Susquehanna. So we got here. This is my 5th year here at Susquehanna, 4th season because we had one season canceled due to COVID. So 4th season here, and being able to see the growth that we have had. If you were at our game on Saturday, and so the Landmark Conference, we flip-flop every year on Saturday. So Wednesdays, we don't play double headers because we're a high academic conference. So they don't really want us missing a ton of class for double headers. So if we're playing, say, Wilkes at home, our men are playing Wilkes away on that Wednesday night. And then on Saturdays, we do double headers together. So it was a home doubleheader for us against E-Town. It was Alumni Day. We also were recognizing our Hall of Fame nominees at halftime of our game. So we are the second game this year. And a lot of us women's basketball coaches are like, we don't like being the last game, the second game in a doubleheader, because what normally happens, people come for the men's game, they get up and they leave before our game. So it turns from a packed house to a less packed house. And that wasn't the case on Saturday. We have grown something super special here at Susquehanna, where we are getting a ton of support, not from our college community, our university community, but our Selinsgrove community. We have a lot of families that travel for our games. We had a great alumni crowd in here on Saturday. I mean, if you stepped in our gym and if you see they have like clips up on Twitter and on Instagram, I mean, our gym was packed. And that's something for me that I feel so excited for our program and our girls on the team, is just they get to play in front of a crowd that is invested. And it's something that they have done, right? Like, we can prepare them as coaches. We can put this in front of them. We can give them the scouting report, but they're the ones executing and making those plays on the court. They're the ones putting the ball through the basket. They're the ones getting those big time defensive stops. They're the ones injecting that energy into the crowd. And it's so excited. I get chills talking about it because our kids are doing something so special here at Susquehanna. And I'm excited for what's to come with our program because we still are a very, very young program.
Yeah. You know, and like you said, I mean, seeing this grow, which I think is awesome, by the way, to hear that happened and to hear that you had that experience, because I would love to, you know, have gone back in time and see that crowd at a women's basketball game and be like, okay, good. Because you always try to get people to trickle in, but the fact that they stayed for you and they had that, I'm going to bring up something that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but we always talk about where sports meets life. I can't get enough, and if people look at my Instagram story, which I always try to do positive things and fun things, and every time I write a quote that's from me, I sign each one of those. Last night, I was listening. I can't stop listening to. I'm a Justin Timberlake fan. I'm not gonna say I'm not. And he's got a new song called "Selfish," and I put up a video of me lip syncing to the song. Have you heard his Selfish, and then there's another one he just came out with on Saturday Night Live, Sanctified. Have you listened to any of this stuff at all? Do you not like any of his music? Am
No,
I?
I actually just I posted, what was it, a couple days ago. I think he was on Fat was it Fallon? I think he was on Fallon
Yeah, he was
with
on
the
Fallon. Yeah.
Roots. Yeah. So I posted the Roots and Fallon and Justin doing their like classroom instruments to Selfish. So I have heard Selfish. I haven't heard the other one that you're talking about, Sanctified, but I have heard Selfish. It's a good song. I think JT, I'm an NSYNC fan. Was an NSYNC fan growing up. That was my first concert I ever went to. And super nostalgic and love it. So excited to see him coming back. I'm sad because I was one of the girlies, the NSYNC girlies that were hoping for a reunion tour.
Yeah.
And I was telling Kaylin I was going to spend, I don't care about how much money on a ticket to go see them. But at the same time, it's pretty cool to see some of these artists come back and release some new stuff.
Yeah, I feel like, but music, because you talked about it, you put on some music, you go to the gym, and music is one of those things, and people don't see, right, that part of you. They don't see that part of me, that when I'm in the studio, I'll play music right before the show sometime, like going into the show, just to amp me up, to get me ready. And that whole feeling of, to kind of bring it all back together, putting on the buds, going into the studio, putting on the buds, going into the gym. I feel the same way as you about a gym. I tell people all the time, whether it's a gym, an outdoor court, whatever, I don't need anybody there. I don't have to play with anyone. I don't have to talk to anybody. I just want to put the music in and shut my brain off and just play. And like, I feel like it's a place where I can take like a real genuine breath
Yep.
and not think. Like, you're not the only one that said that. I'm not the only one that said that. Like, why do you think basketball is that just type of place?
I think it's just because it's been such a, for me, like obviously I can't speak for other people, but for me this has been my life. And it's been something that I put so much time and work into that I genuinely love it. Like I don't get sick of it, which is kind of crazy. And obviously being at home with my wife and trying to talk basketball 24/7, but now I have her bought into it. So she's been bought in for the last, I would say 6 years. Being like, okay, like I'll come home and she's watching basketball. And I'm like, all right, some days I'm like, I need a break. Just take a break. Like, let's just put that off. But I think a big thing for me is that was just my happy place, right? Like I was in third grade, I believe, was it third grade? When my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer my first time, and that was the first time I picked up a basketball too. So I went through a really, really hard time of my mom going through treatment. I was 12, no, however old you are in third, fourth grade. And I was going through a really hard time seeing her go through treatment. And Kelly, as I talked about before, Coach Kelly, she was that person that kind of kept my head on straight. She would pick me up for practice when my mom was going through treatment or if it was a bad day. And I think that basketball just was that thing that like it brought me happiness and it still brings me happiness. So I think for me, like it's just my happy place. And I know it could be a stressful place too. And it was a stressful place for me when I was a player. I mean, I was a point guard, shooting guard, mostly point guard, and being in a game in a stressful moment and not wanting to make a mistake. Like I understand that from a player standpoint too, where it's like, okay, I love to just go out there, but sometimes I'm playing afraid to make a mistake rather than playing to just play. And that's something that we preach with our kids all the time is like next play mentality. Like you're gonna make mistakes, but being able to just say like, all right, and I made a mistake. Now let me get my butt back on defense and get a stop. Like let me not compile that mistake into another mistake. And I think that that's a big thing with our program being such a young program. We went through a 3 game stretch where we were having turnover city. It was rough. But we've kind of gotten back into it, and we're in that range of 13 to 16, which I'm okay with in that area. Still a little bit too many, but at the same time, like our team is playing extremely well together. But I think really, like I said, the calming factor for me is just it's my happy place. Even like I tell the girls now, like I step onto that floor with them at practice and being around 18 to 22-year-old young women every single day is the greatest thing because they just bring life into you. Like they say the funniest things, they say the off the wall things, they say the things that you're just looking at them and being like, "What are you talking about?" But at the same time, like, and I in our program, and we just had alums from the '90s in our locker room this past weekend after our big win, and I say all the time, like, I don't like our program to be 100% business all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's not fun if it's that way, right? Like we have to be able to have some fun with it. We have to be able to laugh. We have to be able to laugh at mistakes. We have to be able to laugh at just absolutely anything. And I think that that's the best thing that this program and this team does is being able to have fun. They do things that are goofy, and they just make everybody feel that love and feel that happiness.
Yeah, and like you said, when you're around that and you're around that positivity and and like you said, you already go there, that's your happy place. It's a positive place, but then every year it feeds that there's other people in there that they're doing this. They're falling in love with basketball. They came to you because they love basketball. Now you get to be that coach.
Right.
Now you get to be Coach Kelly. You get to be any of those coaches that have come through your life. You get to be the people that are helping them through a tough time, helping them through something with their family, helping them through a breakup, helping them through moving away from home. What is that like for you to flip the script and all those coaches that helped you, all those coaches that helped to keep you, like you said, focused, keep you out of trouble, keep you, doing something that you love at a time where maybe you're really stressed out. Now that you get to do that and you have had years now doing that, what's that experience been like to know how your mentors changed your life and now you are a mentor that has an opportunity to change a life?
It is the most rewarding part of this job. Um, I have seen our players at some very, very low lows. I've seen them at some very high highs. And as I said earlier, like I've always been told, you're never going to make 100% of your team happy. And you as a coach have to be okay with that. And that's where I say being a collegiate head coach is lonely at times because people see, right, especially fans, everything else, like they see 40 minutes of a game, right? They
Yeah.
see that's where they see, but they don't see the behind the scenes. They don't see the conversations. They don't see the work, the practice. Like they don't see all the unseen hours is what we call them, right? And I think the biggest thing for me though is being able to be there for our team. And I think they all know they can come into this office at any time. We have an open door policy with absolutely anything. And they just can come in and chat. And you'll see if you came through my office, our office is always our kids are here. They come in just to chat. They come in to talk about school. They come in to talk about life, family, and being able to be that person that helps them through that. And like I said, I've seen some of our players at really low lows, and being able to help them through those lows, is something that's super rewarding for me, but also being able to give them advice and tell them, okay, from my scenario, from my point of view, this is how I see things. And you could take my advice and go with it, or you could just say, no, I'm not about that. And I think a big thing too is our team we talk about all the time is love. Like there's going to be moments of tough love, but there's going to be I'm going to love on you 10 times harder too. And I think that that's a big thing for our program is they know like they love each other, but they're also know that they get on each other's nerves. And they aren't going to agree with me 100% of the time. And we have to be able to come to a happy medium sometimes, but also that I'm always going to put them and hopefully put them in situations that they're going to be successful. And we want to help them get internships. We want to help them get connections in the outside world. Like I say all the time that the ball's going to eventually stop bouncing.
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to have a plan of what is life after this ball stops bouncing. This orange ball that we have let control a lot of our emotions. This orange ball that has brought us happiness, sadness, anger, right? That eventually stops, but all the lessons we learned with it continue, right? And that's something for me where this sport teaches you so much with adversity, with things just going great at times and then things going absolutely terrible at times. Excitement, nervousness, right? How to compete in a pressure situation. How to come out of just basically a rut. Like if you're in a game and you're in a 3 game slump,
Yeah.
how do you come back from that? Because life is going to be hard. And that's something I talk to our kids about all the time is like life is going to be difficult. Like nobody can say that life is 100% easy all the time. We all
Yeah.
go through our moments of greatness and we go through our moments of trials, like and just being able to say like, okay, I'm being tried right now, how do I come out of this and how do I figure it out and how do I, but I think the game of basketball and being a collegiate athlete helps so much, with being able to learn how to navigate life after basketball. And I think being a coach that's able to help our players through that, and to help them get connected with some of our alums. Like that was a big thing this weekend is being able to talk to our alums about, okay, can I put this person in contact with you to talk about going to med school, right? Or being a teacher and you just being able to communicate with them and have that connection and to just build that gap, right? And I think that that's something that I think is so special about this career and this life that I have chose to keep going, and to keep coaching is to just really teach life through basketball is basically, I mean, that's my email signature. It's been that even since when I was at Marywood, when I was an assistant coach. That's just something that I fully dive into.
Yeah, here with Gabby Holko, and right there with you. I mean, the tagline for Wake Up Call is where sports meets life. So we're here speaking with the Susquehanna Riverhawks women's basketball head coach, Gabby Holko, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We discuss that not everyone's going to hear the message, but you give the message. I want to dive into when you have a timeout and you got the board out. What type of coach are you? Are you the coach with the board? Are you the coach with, I just want to look at my players? Are you standing? Are you kneeling? Are you sitting? Because I've seen you on the sidelines in a lot of different ways. I've seen you experience a lot of different ways. But in that crunch time, in that minute or so that you have, or 30 seconds to get a message across, how have you tried to master the art of getting your point across in a condensed amount of time to as many people as you can?
I will say that is a tough part, right? And I think it's tough because of the thoughts, emotions, everything that is going through your player's head in those moments, right? And being able to keep them calm. I'll talk about this weekend against E-Town. We had we called a timeout to advance the basketball. I believe it was like 8 or 9 seconds. In the end of regulation, fourth quarter, draw up a play. I am a croucher. I squat a ton. I think that's just if I'm in heels, if I'm in tennis shoes, like I'm a squatter. I don't bring a chair out and sit. I do write on a board, but I do make a lot of eye contact, and that's just me as a normal human. I have a really hard time, and I think it's an own ADD moment of myself, to be honest, where I have to be making eye contact with people to know that like, okay, I'm listening to you, but you're also listening to me. And I think it's a form of respect.
Right.
And that's something that I've been taught. But we drew something up. It was a 30, it was, no, this was a minute timeout. Drew it up. Our kids executed it to perfection. We got a great look, and the ball hit every part of the rim possible to end it in regulation. And we went into OT, and we ended up winning by one. So it ended up in a good situation. But we've had moments too where I call a timeout, I draw something up, and our kids don't execute it, right? And I think that those are just learning moments. We're a young team, predominantly freshmen and sophomores. We have 2 juniors, we have 1 senior, and we have 1 5th year. We have 4 sophomores, and we have 6 freshmen. So I think that that's a big thing for us is being such a young team. It's going to take time. It's going to take reps, being able to rep it at practice where we draw things up at practice, okay, and say execute it here. And I think we do a heck of a job at practice when we do it. But when we get in a game situation, being able to lock in to be able to say like, okay, like I need to be able to execute this to perfection, to be able to get a good look or make a read out of this. But that's something for us. Like I think our kids do a really great job at being connected when we are in a timeout. But in those stressful moments, that's an area I think that we could always get better at.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough. The art of the timeout, the art of those seconds. And I'm like you, like I have to look at somebody in the eyes. Like if I'm doing something in the studio, if I'm like responding to a message, well, and I'm trying to kind of be the jack of all trades type of thing here. I want like I'm always like in my head I'm going, I hope they know that I'm trying to pay attention. I'm just hitting everything because like that's me. I will look at somebody in the eye and I paid close attention to this. This could have been on a date, it could be with a friend, it could be in a business meeting, could be literally with anything. If I'm here and they're here and there and everywhere and I pay attention to going, okay, like is this somebody I want to work with? Is this somebody I want to date? Is this somebody I want to be friends with? Because when they talk, and this is the irony of people like that, they want this. When they're talking, they want you locked in. But when you're talking, it's like, what's that butterfly doing over there? That's such an interesting thing. And I'm just like, you know what? You got to give me what I'm giving, but I'm
Right.
always here. And I think that you know that too. Like I won't look away. I might like take a breath, but I'm looking
Right.
because to me, I feel like, someone's eyes goes right to their soul.
Yeah.
You get to learn the character of a person, you get to see them. And when you actually see people and you pay attention to them, I think it goes a long way. So, and I know I know that you're the squatting coach because like think all my pictures or anything that I had of the sideline, I'm like, yeah, she's in heels, dress, but she's right down there like she's like she's wearing sweatpants and shoes like you said. I mean, it's just it's who you are, it's your personality, but it's like that comes out and I love that you have that. Like you are you. Did you have to develop into being comfortable being you? Because I feel like it sounds so easy, but we live in a world where so many people are afraid to be authentically themselves because they're concerned of how someone's going to respond to it. When it was like, what am I going to wear to the game? How am I going to act? What am I going to do? Did you have to grow into, I don't care what anybody thinks. This is me. This is Gabby. This is how I coach. This is how I dress. This is who I am. Or is it something that you just had, or is it something that develops over time? Because, I think I've had moments where I'm walking through the dome and I'm conscientiously going like, did I wear the right shirt? Did I do this? Do I look good? Did I work out enough today? And now I walk around the dome going like, I genuinely don't care what you think. So did you have to grow into that, or is that something that, you
Yeah, I
know,
think no, I think that that's something you do grow into, and I think obviously everybody has that little bit of sense, like that confidence. I think now more so than ever, like I really truly like what people think of me. It doesn't bother me as much as it did, right? Because I know that I'm going to live my life authentically me. And I was actually on a podcast with David Kitchen, who was our strength coach here for a long time. He was a Susquehanna grad. I was on a podcast with him talking about authenticity,
yeah,
because I think that that is me. Like I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be goofy. I'm gonna be super emotional. I'm gonna be super energetic, enthusiastic. But that's who I am, and I'm gonna put everything that I have into that, and into our program and into our coaching staff. And I say all the time, I think I have the best coaching staff in the world, with Aaron Ettinger and Mike Matisse. They're two of my right hand guys, and I could not do what I do without them. And I just want to give them that plug because I think assistant coaches don't get enough plugs that they should. And I have two of the best assistants I say in the country. And I think for me though, like you'll look at our sidelines now, and especially since COVID, coaching attire has gotten so lax. And at first I was like, I don't know if this is like right. Like this isn't what coaching used to be, right? You saw me when I was at Marywood and I was in heels, a dress. I was in dress clothes like every single game.
yeah,
And at first I had a little bit of this like, do I do it? Do I don't? Do I do it? But I'm like, why am I not going to be comfortable on the sideline? Like
yeah,
when we go against teams that there's coaches that still get dressed up, right? And that's fine. And we still get dressed up sometimes. Our kids weirdly love when we get dressed up. They're like, it just looks so nice. So we
yeah.
do it for them, I think, more so, not for ourselves. Because we as a coaching staff are like, all right, let's wear joggers, let's wear sneakers, let's wear a quarter zip and feel comfortable. But at the same time, I think, Dan, it takes a lot of time to just grow into who you are. Like I tell our girls every day, all day. I wish I knew now back when I was a player, right? I wish I had the confidence that I have now. I wish I had the voice that I have now when I was a player, because I think we so much, especially in those years when you're a collegiate athlete, you think so much about what other people are thinking about you. You think so much about, okay, I'm having a bad game. Is so and so gonna think this? Is so and so gonna think this? I think a big thing too is just being comfortable in your own skin. And that took a long time for me to be able to say, like, okay, this is Gabby, this is who I am. But at the same time, I think I've always had that sense of confidence, to be able to say, like, I could talk to a brick wall and my mom named me properly, Gab a ton. And that's something that'll never stop. But at the same time, I think a something that I have always had is just the comfortability to be able to be myself. And I'm gonna, I was the, my teammates in college still to this day, make fun of me because I say some just off the wall things that I just don't think before I say it. And they're like, yeah, what are you like? Just shut up. And I think we laugh, right? Like sometimes it's okay to be that person that make people laugh. And I think that that's something for me as a coach. I think our players see that. They don't see it all the time because obviously we do have to be business and
Yeah.
there are boundaries and there are those different things, but we like to have fun in this program. We like to joke around. I'm thinking like even at practice now, like Caitlin Lynch, our fifth year, and Madison Miller, our senior, they stand on the sideline and like they stretch over on the far end of the sideline, and every day they have a question of the day, right? Like, if you could eat one food and only one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Kind of like at the end of your segments where you ask your questions. Like they do that every practice. And those are things that I enjoy. I'm like, all right, what's the question of the day? Let's see like what this is. Or if you had to pick a teammate to land a plane, who would you pick? And it's like, oh gosh, here we go.
Yeah.
But they have fun with it. And I think that that's the best thing about this group is they take basketball extremely serious, but at the same time, they know how to have fun with it and they know how to love it. Because we say all the time, if you lose the love for this sport, being a college athlete is not for you because this is a job. It's a 6 month long season. It is a grueling season. It's a tiring season, but it's an enjoyable season if you love the sport.
Yeah, yeah, and like you said, and it's interesting you talked about the sideline because I have seen that. I've seen, and I'm the person where, and I think, I mean, I think like people know when they're around me a lot. I absolutely love to, be relaxed, right? To where, I have, they look like dress pants, but they're actually like, they're Under Armour pants and they have
Mhm.
zippers on them and stuff. So they look dressy. I can wear them to the game, but it's comfortable. But I love wearing a suit. Like I love putting a suit on. And down in when I'm covering the Jaguars, it's so hot. So I don't really want to put the suit on at those games because I don't want to sweat in my suit and then have to get it dry cleaned and do all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, what do I wear? Like, how can I look nice? What can I do? But putting a suit on and having like and that's the thing, coming in to yourself being who you are. I have a shirt that's got salamanders on it and I'll
Mhm.
wear that to the ACC in front of all the people that I thought used to make fun of me. And now I'm like, what's up, guys? Like, not only am I coming in here to do my job and don't care if you try to stop it, my chameleon shirt is me showing you, like, this is exactly who I am. I collected salamanders and, all that stuff when I was a kid. And now at 38 years old, like, I proudly wear it. Like, if someone was like, oh, it's a flamingo shirt, I'm like, yeah, my grandmother loves flamingos. Like, I mean, that's to me, but you have to develop into that. And it's not a
Yes.
perfect science. It's not something where you don't have a moment, but you just get to a point where you realize with people. I was watching a video this morning with Howie Mandel and Gary Vee, but I was watching this video where they were talking about when people say mean things to you, when they try to get you to stop being who you are, chasing your dreams, when they make fun of something about you, when they pick on you, when they try to discredit you or shame you or put you down, to have empathy for that person because they are not happy. And it was nice to hear somebody actually say what I've been thinking this whole time. Happy people who are good in their skin, who feel good about their life, they don't attack people. They don't go after people. People that love what they do what they love, proud of who they are, happy to be in their own skin, those people don't attack people. And I always say, like, when you're believing in God and you have a faith, you don't have that bone. You don't have that, like, yeah, I believe in God and and I'm a faithful person, but I'm gonna go, try to make this person cry. When people are doing that, and it's also like, why does it matter? And it's
Hmm.
easier said than done, but why does it matter if somebody cares what you wear on the sideline? Why does it matter if somebody, cares how I do my show or what I
Right,
choose to do? It's we spend most of our lives caring about all that stuff, but the reality is you can't get anything done.
right.
You can't achieve anything in your life if you're, well, what do they think? Well, what does that think? And I'm so proud that, you've been authentically you. And I love that. And, when you and Kaylin came to the Dome a few years ago, albeit you wearing the wrong colors, when you came to the Dome and I got to see you both, like the thing that I was so proud of, and I think about this all the time, and I don't tell you guys this, and I should, but it's so hard to find love that when I'm around it, some people get jealous. I think of you guys when I think of love. Like I think of, they look so happy, they're good to each other. I love being around them and seeing it. Like, and it gets me. It does. It's I've got a tear in my eye, but it makes you appreciate. Like when you see it, you just know it. You know what I mean? And so it's like we spend most of our lives thinking about what does this person think, what does that person think. Where I've challenged myself to be like, when you're around really awesome people and great things, take it in. And like being a single man who doesn't have that yet, I do, and I hope she's listening. I hope your wife's listening. I honestly think about you guys because you see stuff, and I've been around you. And when I think about love, I think about you both, and it
Well, I
gives
think.
me hope for the future. It really
Thank you
does.
for that. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not always sunshine and
I
butterflies.
know, I
And
know,
as,
I
and
know.
especially being married to a collegiate basketball coach, it's tough. I say all the time I have the best support system at home. And she has seen me in really, even if this season, tough moments, crying. I'm a very emotional human and I get vulnerable obviously with her, but I appreciate that and we appreciate that. And it takes work. And I tell our kids that too here in this program. Like, to find somebody that is kind to you, to find somebody that is going to support you through good things, through bad things, through moments when you are down on yourself. And I think that that's a very great thing to look for in humans. And I found it in my person. And she's great. She's our unpaid assistant coach, gives me all of her basketball advice, because she never really was about the sport until she came into my life 8.5 years ago. But I think we are perfect for each other. I do. I really do say that a lot. And that part of my life has been something that I haven't been fully, obviously, comfortable talking about. I mean, first time I talked with you when I was at Marywood. And I think just being at a different universities, Marywood's obviously a different university than Susquehanna. And I think I was not okay being who I am fully, authentically myself and talking about Kay wasn't my wife at the point. She was just my partner. But at the same time, I'm just going to be me. And I think that that's something that I preach to our girls, and our girls do that in this program. We have really talented kids in this program, man. They are doing things that I would have loved to be able to accomplish as an athlete myself. We just had one player, a sophomore post player for us, Julia Roth, and she just got a really cool honor. She's a part of the D3 Team of the Week, which they only pick 5 players out of all Division III, and which is a ton of schools.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people submit people for that. And Julia Roth is my first player in my 5 years here to get that honor. And she had a phenomenal game this past weekend. She was 29 and 12, so 29 points, 12 rebounds in an overtime game. She was 11 for 22 from the field, 7 from 8 from the free throw line. She had 4 steals, and that's something else that kid has just done phenomenally. But we have other players on our roster. Caitlin Lynch, as I said, as a fifth year for us. Julia Pinkert's our point guard, and she played a phenomenal game this past weekend. She played 37 minutes, 5 assists, 0 turnovers. For a point guard, that's huge.
Yep.
Being able to take care of the basketball. We have Kenzie Salvaggi, who is 2 games ago against Catholic, hit some big time shots for us. We had a freshman emerge this past weekend on Saturday, Zoe Mayfie. She has one of the most athletic kids that I've coached from a post standpoint, just hasn't been able to finish the basketball. And this weekend she went She went 6 of 8 from the field, and she hit a three. And she's just feeling good about herself. We have Carly George, who's a center for us, that's been giving us great minutes. Lauren Klein is a defensive specialist that comes in off the bench for us. And we had another freshman that kind of got some really big time minutes this weekend, and Sydney Wyant, and that's somebody that she's coming into her play a little bit. And we have other players that bring it every single day with Annie Greek, Madison Miller. We have Michaela Rodriguez, Elke Staver, Kirsten Shipton, Grace Meehan, who's one of the best shooters that I've coached. And just as I said again, the plug to my assistant coaches, like Aaron Ettinger has been with me since I got here. And then Mike Matisse came just this past year and we went to college. And those two gentlemen work extremely hard for our program. And I am grateful for them. I'm grateful for our program, our team, our support staff. It takes a village to be able to be a part of a successful program. And I'm super excited for what's to come with Susquehanna women's basketball.
Yeah, and what I love about that is you and I usually break it down, and you broke it down without me even having to ask. Like this, these are my players. This is what they do. This is where they're at. This is what they've done recently. This is what they bring to the table. I mean, you know your team, and now as we step forward, you played before we jump into rapid fire here. You got a 12-7 record at the time we're talking, 7-5. When we look at conference play, the Landmark is such a difficult conference, and I feel like people don't understand that. Like if you don't know the Landmark Conference, if you don't know Division III, like I've been around the SUNYAC, I know the SUNYAC's difficult. The Landmark Conference, when you were going into it, we were discussing just what you're going to get, and you're playing top 25 ranked teams, top 10 ranked teams. You got the University of Scranton coming up again. What can you say about the matchups that you've had and the teams you faced? Because you faced a bunch of ranked teams. You still have that to go on the schedule. You will have, the University of Scranton, like I stated, to play coming up here very soon. And you also had an exhibition against a Division I team in Navy. So what has that done for your team to have that exhibition game against D1 as a D3 school, and then to go through the gamut of playing a bunch of ranked teams and then going right into a conference that's difficult? I mean, you went from tough to tough to tough. There's no cupcake city going on here with Susquehanna. So what has the experience been like, and what can that do for your team down the stretch, the fact that you've challenged them so much?
Yeah, absolutely. And we say that every single day. I don't give our kids an easy non-conference schedule. There is not one team that I'm like, okay, that's a for sure win. And that's something for us that we cannot, as you say, like there's no cupcake because as you stated, our conference is so tough. I say this, and maybe people would agree, maybe people don't agree. I think it's a top 5 conference in the country. We had at the beginning of the year 3 of our teams in our conference were ranked in the top 25. We have Catholic, who's in the top 10. Scranton just fell out of the top 10. I think they're number 13 right now. We've played everybody tough, and that's something that was awesome for us as a program. Like I said, we played Catholic, who's number 8 in the country right now, this past a week prior from tomorrow. And we ended up losing by 6.
Yeah.
And it was down to the wire. Minute 30, we were only down 1. And we just kind of had a little bit of a rut. And at the end of the game, I told our girls we needed to learn how to finish. And being a young team, that takes time. That takes time to figure out how to finish a basketball game. And we did that on Saturday with Elizabethtown. Elizabethtown's a phenomenal team. They're a great inside presence. They have a great guard in Summer McNulty. It was going to be a tough one, and we knew that. But being able to finish a game through, we had the lead for most of the game for 28 minutes. We lost it in the fourth quarter, but then we were able to chip back and kind of get back to where we needed to go. But we don't ever make it easy for our kids. All of our losses, of our 7 losses, are 2 teams basically at the time that are ranked in the top 25. And that's something for us. We just shake our head a little bit. We had 2 hiccups, but every other loss of 7, 5 of them were to ranked teams. So being able to say like, okay, like we're right there. We're just clawing at it, chipping at it. I'm proud of what our girls have accomplished. Like I told you right as we got in the call, we've already beaten our record from last year, and we still have 6 games to go. And we're tied right now we're 3 games ahead in the conference from 2 years ago, and we're tied overall wins from 2 years ago. My third year, the 3 years ago, we didn't play a season. And then my first year here, we had 15 wins, so we're 3 games behind Matt. I think we're trending in the right direction, and I said this to the newspaper after they talked to us on Saturday. Is it's not about the X's and the O's, it's about the Jimmies and the Joes, right? We have great kids here. We have solid kids that want to put in the work, that want to be successful, that want to put Susquehanna women's basketball back into that conversation. And I think that we're doing that. I think it's going to take a little bit more time, and I think that if we stay true to who we are as a program and to keep executing the way we are, and our defense is elite right now. We're holding teams below their average. We're holding teams percentage wise below their average. And if we can continue that, I think it's going to be a phenomenal finish out this season, and a start for us going this way. So I'm excited for what's to come for Susquehanna women's basketball.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter when I talk to you. It just seems like there is something on the rise, coming on the horizon there. So it speaks to your work. It speaks to the work, like you said, of your staff, and to your awesome student athletes, and to the buy-in of Susquehanna University in general for these programs like women's basketball. Let's jump in there. I mean, we're an hour into the conversation, and I feel like I have 75 other questions. But let's jump into rapid fire. You get to get the first one.
Oh, I get to give the first one?
Yeah.
All right. If you could be a NFL coach for any of the NFL teams, who would it be and why? As you're wearing a Jacksonville Jaguars shirt.
Yeah, no, I would be the head coach of the Jaguars. I think anything would be a great opportunity. Any opportunity to coach in the NFL would be wonderful. I took an intro to business class as a junior in high school, and you could choose anything to talk about, and I chose to be the general manager of the Jaguars. So, I would be their head coach. I like Doug Peterson. I am hopeful in Doug Peterson. The staff has changed a little bit. I wonder where it's going to go from here, if it's going to change anymore. I never wish anybody to lose their job. It just seems like we're in a place where some people might be shifting, but and I hope, no matter what happens, everybody lands on their feet. But yeah, I would be the head coach of Jacksonville. I want to coach Trevor. I want to coach Josh Allen. I want to coach some of this awesome defense. Andre Cisco, who went to Syracuse. I want to be a part of the draft. That's really what I want. Like, I would love to get a phone call and be like, hey, Dan, come in here, sit in the war room. Let's figure this thing out, So I would definitely want to coach Jacksonville. And, I mean, it's been my favorite team since they came into existence in 1995. I love Fred Taylor. He's right over my shoulder here. I got a little Jaguars thing that's off camera. I have the first helmet to the last to like a recent helmet here. So I definitely have to do it. I wouldn't need anything for my desk. It looks like I'm already a coach. So I would say Jacksonville. All right, Gabby. How about this? If you could coach in the WNBA, what franchise would you coach? And if you could put any 3 players on that team right now, who would you want to coach?
So I would probably say the Aces.
Okay.
I'm such a Becky Hammon fan. I would just love to be a fly on the wall in any of her practices, any of her one-on-ones. I think I think the Aces organization is really putting into that program, right? Like they're getting a state-of-the-art practice facility, which obviously is unheard of at the WNBA, but it's starting to come to fruition. I think player-wise, wow. Can they be retired as well?
Could be anybody, yeah.
Okay. So I would probably go Sue Bird,
Okay.
Jonquel Jones,
Okay.
and Stewie.
All right. Stewie, Central New York. I love it.
Yep. I just think I'm a fan of all 3 of them. three, obviously Stewie can handle, and she's a shooter. I mean, Sue Bird, you just is an amazing facilitator on the floor, also a scoring threat. And then John Jones inside is just a beast. Um, and obviously Jonquel and Stewie are both on the Liberty. And I'm also a fan of them as well. So it's pretty cool to see that. But I would say, yeah, I would say the Aces and then those three.
All right, I like it. Good answer. What's your next one?
How much money would it take to make you a Duke fan?
Uh, I don't think there's any amount of money. I don't think there's any amount of money. I can't be bought. You know what I mean? And it's so true though. But I love that. And it's funny that you answer that question or that you ask that question because I think to myself like okay, what could I do with this? How could I give the money back and reinvest it? But no one's ever been able to buy me. No one
Okay.
at any point in my life, it doesn't matter. It'd be like, what would you do for this lollipop? And I'm like, I'm good, man. You know what I mean? Like it's,
Exactly.
I just, I feel like that's a beautiful thing is that when I'm in a meeting and someone's like, well, would you do this? And you're like, no. And you're like, well, what if I gave you that? And I just laugh in my head. And I'm like, my morals and my values and the things I stand on, you're not going to change them for any amount of money. I mean, I had a buddy ask me like, he was asking me ridiculous questions. And what if you got $1 million for this or 2 million for that? And I was like, no. And he's like, why? I was like, because it's not me. And he's like, well, I do it for 200,000. I'm like, well, you have no value. That's just I can't be bought. So my simple answer is nothing. But the thing about here's the thing. And I grew up in Syracuse, my hometown, but Duke players and coaches, I have great conversations with them because I cover the whole ACC. And
Right.
I've had great conversations with Grayson Allen, and I've had great conversations with, so many guys last season at the ACC tournament. I like talking to John Shire. Like, I joke with people all the time where I'm like, I know y'all hate Duke, but their players are really nice. Like,
Right.
they have some really fantastic stories, and I've had some really heartfelt moments with them. So, I appreciate them tremendously, but no. you know, I,
All
I'm
right.
I'm with Kay, so she knows what's up. She's smart. She goes orange. That's the intelligence factor. We got to get you guys back to a game though. That's
I
something we
know,
have to do.
right?
So and it's funny because I just told a story recently about that night that I'll catch up with you on because I thought it was really funny, like just experiencing like the community afterward and
Yep.
like seeing you guys in like the Marshall Street area. My final question for you. Hmm. If you were going to go on vacation, because I know you're working all the time, you're constantly doing stuff. If you're going to go on vacation to somewhere you've never been, where are you going? And you can take one person from the music world, one person from the movie world, and one of your mentors. So Kay's coming, you're going. Where are you going? One mentor, one music person, one person from the movie world. Who are you taking?
Hmm. So this is tough because I'm not a big movie human. Um, so if I could go anywhere that I have not been yet,
Yeah.
I would probably say Greece because I just think it's probably one of the most beautiful places and I would love to go there. Music world, I say this all the time. Like, I'm such an Adele fan. Like, I love her to death and I
Yeah.
would love to see her play, but I think her tickets are like over $1,000 for her Vegas time, whatever she's doing down there. So I would say Adele from the movie world. Probably
Or
trying to think
TV or
of,
just entertainment, anything you want.
I'm trying to think though, like actresses that I really enjoy. I'd say Denzel Washington. I think he'd be pretty cool to hang out with.
Agree.
Um, And then mentor-wise, my guy 2 doors down, Frank Marcetic.
Yeah, I think he'd
I've
be pretty cool to
he's
hang.
he's somebody that my time with him in these 5 years being here at Susquehanna is invaluable. He has taught me so much in these 5 years, and we just have such a great relationship. And I consider him a mentor. I don't know if he knows that, but he's somebody that I go to on a regular basis and to have great conversation with. And he's kept my head on my shoulders on moments where I'm struggling, or moments of like I'm super angry and trying to figure things out, or just basketball questions. And he does the same thing to me. He'll come in and ask me questions, draw stuff up. What are my thoughts? I think that him and I just have a great working relationship. So I'd bring Frank.
Okay, I like that. And bring Frank. So, with that being said, I never know how to say goodbye, so I don't. I always say see you later. If people
Yep.
pay attention to me on the phone, I never say bye, I say see you.
Yeah.
Because see you says, okay, to be continued. Bye is so final.
Yep. See ya.
So I'm going to say see you to you, Gabby. Thank you so much as always. Tremendous effort by your team. Love hearing about your team all the time. Love looking up and seeing how you're doing. I would love to talk with you soon and have you back on, of course. And I'm going to shamelessly ask for this because, you know, we've been friends for a long time. I need some Riverhawk gear. So that just needs
Okay.
to happen.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we
I'll
got,
send you something.
and we got some wake up call gear now too, so I get to send back to you as well. So
Yes.
I got
Okay.
some stuff for you, some stuff, yeah. So I will happily rock it. But happy for you and happy for all the work you're doing. Shout out to you and the family, to Kay,
Yes.
and you know, much love as always. Thank you for being the person that you are and for always making time for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Dan, and I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you, Gabby.
Bye.
That coming here from Gabby Holko one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. And we are going to take a quick step aside for a fast break. When we come back inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin' here on Wake Up Call. Coming up next, a bonus Dolphin Dive featuring Tracey Roman, the Moyne Dolphins softball head coach, on the new press box that's coming.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpazpopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpazpopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And appreciate your patience here as we got ready to have picture-in-picture with me, Miss Tracey Roman of the Moyne Dolphins softball team, and finishing up our conversation in hour number one with Gabby Holko. Tracey, so happy to have you here on the show, and always, and for people that don't know, Tracey's schedule is just crazy in a good way. Getting up in the morning early, ton of hours of work, little opportunity here for us to talk, and then back to work again. I marvel in everything that you do with, and a lot of it just on you, to get this softball team ready for the upcoming season. And you and I have talked about a lot of things, Tracey, but thank you for the work that you do at Moyne, because it doesn't go unnoticed. And I've been a big fan of the softball team, coming out there when it's 30 some odd degrees and watching the game. So happy to see you, and happy for the season to be coming up very soon here.
Good to see you as well, Dan, as always. And thanks again for having us on the program and showing so much love to the Moyne softball program. We really appreciate the work you do as well.
Yeah, it's fun for me, and I got so excited when Bob was talking to me over a year ago about, phase one of things that he wanted to do. He said, we're going to go ahead and put a concession stand with restrooms over there by Ted Grant Field, and that happened. He said, we're going to be taking out the dugouts, putting some new things in, and doing some renovations for the baseball field, and that's been happening. And he said we're going to put a press box over at the softball field and have that opportunity for the first time ever for there to be a press box situation for softball. And I got to see the crane finally, because I know there was, thoughts that maybe it would come toward the end of this past year, and then they were talking about January of this year. So when I see that green press box and that crane taking it and lowering it down, I'm excited. How do you feel about the fact that there's been some upgrades to softball?
It's really exciting for our program. It's funny, and just like you were mentioning, talks of projects like these typically start years before they actually happen. So from a coaching perspective, you're not holding your breath for them. So you're very thankful when you actually see them come to fruition, because it's taken, such a long time. But it's really nice driving up to the field and seeing this addition. It adds, a totally different feel. We already had we have a very nice softball field, but it's just the aesthetics, and the field looks more balanced. It's nice to see it all come together. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, and getting to see, and it's of course Dolphin green, but when we see that press box come in, just what you think that does, like you said, for the eye test, when you're going by the field, when you're seeing it now, to see that welcoming atmosphere, to see there's a place for your statisticians to go in, there's a place for people to go in that are covering the game and running different cameras and pieces for you. There's a place for people like myself to go and sit and be able to cover it. The fact that this is here now, because, and that's what we talked about in hour one, women's athletics needing support, and it's never made any sense to me why it's any different than men's athletics, right? Is that if they're student athletes, you go and you support them, but seeing this growth over the years, that things for on the women's side start to come together. I've been a big fan from the beginning, like I said, of your softball program, of when we met. Seeing this press box, for me, from the media perspective, is telling me, like, please come and join us. We take this seriously. This is important to us. Do you get a sense for that? Do you get a feel for that? Is there a sense of pride of saying, like, of all the upgrades that are happening, we actually get a spotlight specifically on our field? We're not sharing this with anybody. Like, this is for us.
Yeah, I think, not just for sports complexes in particular, but anytime you see building and growth on a college campus, and I think how facilities are maintained and improvements that are made, how the grounds are taken care of, I think all of those factors are indicative of the level of care and support that the college gives to not only its student athletes, but to the students that attend the college. So, we're lucky on this side to reap the rewards of such a great addition. But yeah, it's fantastic because, from a recruiting perspective, you never know who's checking out your campus, and you have no idea. You don't know if somebody's driving through town and they come in. Maybe one time they come, there's no press box. The next time they come, now they see this press box. It's, those are all factors that are impressive to recruits.
Yeah, and you speak about it here, so I want to jump right into it. Recruiting, you and I have talked about it off the air, and some of it on the air as well, but this class that you have, what you have coming here for 2024, what can you tell us about the areas that you've worked on, specifically trying to say, okay, I want to build my depth here, I want to raise my level here? What areas did you focus on in recruiting for the team that we're going to see in 2024? What spots have been filled, those gaps that you saw from 2023 that can help you now?
We've 100% been focused on more arms, so greater depth with our pitching staff. And I think we've done that successfully with who we have coming in next year. We've got 2 right-handed pitchers coming in. We've got a lefty coming in, which we've not had since I've been at Moyne. So I think you're going to see the depth of our pitching staff grow, which, is really necessary. It would have been necessary for the Division II level, but certainly very, very necessary to compete now at the Division I level. So I'm really excited about that. We have another catcher coming in next year, and then we have a couple position players that can do a lot of different things. And when I go recruiting, coaches always ask me, what are you looking for? And my answer, unless it's something very, very specific like a pitcher, I'm always looking for the very best athletes I can find. And those tend to fall to middle infielders, at younger levels. But if you can play middle, you can play outfield and usually do a whole lot more. So we try to find the best athletes that we can. But pitching has been the largest focus. And I think we've been successful, and I feel really good about the class that's coming in.
Yeah, and again, I mean, you and I had spoken about this too, and looking at the mounds and what you had last year, and the fact that LB did so much, so much was leaning on her and contingent on her, and you had other players that were coming up and kind of learning their way and finding their groove and whatnot. To focus on pitching seemed like something that was clear as you step forward to get that depth. With what's coming in and what you found, how do you feel about a rotation now? How do you feel about, okay, LB did all these things for us, but now what does this look like for Moyne? I mean, I know you got to play the games. I know we got to see how they fit in, but from what you can tell us from your point of view, what does pitching look like for Moyne as we step forward, knowing that you're bringing in these student athletes?
I think right now we're a much stronger staff than we were just a year ago. Michaela Stockwell worked very, very hard over the summer and even over the winter break. Her curveball's breaking a lot better than it was. Her drop ball's moving a lot better than it was. She's come back with a changeup. She's just worked very, very hard coming into her final year here. Laura Bennett is Laura Bennett. She looks true to form in practice. I know, she might not talk about the work that she does, but she takes a lot of pride in her pitching, and I know that she works on it, and it's very important to her. It's personal to her. So she looks like Laura always looks. So I'm excited, to see what she does in her final season. Then we have a freshman, Ariana Exarchikis. I call her my gentle giant. This kid has no idea how good she's going to be. She throws, easily in the low 60s, but can move the ball very well. And then to complement and round out the staff, we have Rose Nicastro, who's returning as a sophomore, who's really ironed out some things in her mechanics over the summer and then moving through the fall. And we have a transfer in Alexis Del Favaro from Dieuville, but she's local to the Syracuse area and has opted to pursue nursing closer to home. So, she's going to be a nice complement to the staff as well. So just greater options, I would say, this year. Yeah. More versatility, of course, keeping everybody healthy, but more versatility in some of the changes that we're able to make mid-game. And we just didn't have that flexibility last year as much.
Yeah, and that's, I know that, like you said, that was such a spotlight focus thing, and I'm excited to see what that's going to look like because, like you said, your facility, what you offer, what you have, there's so many things that if you come out to a softball game, and I implore everybody to do that, to go and see Lemoyne at home, of course, and go and see Lemoyne on the road when you can as well. But this is a passionate team. This is a fun team. I've seen games where it just flips, right? I mean, there was a game last year where it's like runs, then a team's going and getting them, and then it's coming back, and it's going back and forth. I mean, there's been so much fun out there on the softball field. Why do you stay in it, Tracey? Like, what is it about this game for you that keeps you focused, keeps you coaching, keeps you just on it? I mean, I know from my perspective how much fun you and the team have made it, but from your perspective, why are you so committed to it still to this day? I mean, I know you love softball, but coaching is a different bird. Why do you love to coach this team?
I really wish I could answer that question for you. I mean, I'm a competitor by nature, but really coaches, we're not always the puppet masters that people think we are. We try to prepare our teams the best that we can, but at the end of the day, it's either they execute or not. So we just do the best job that we can, trying to prepare the team to compete no matter what. And in our sport specifically, it is so important to stay present. Like you said, you can have a team put up a bunch of runs in an inning, and you can either choose to focus on the outcome, which may look like a loss during that inning, or you can choose to stay focused in the moment and play the game one pitch at a time. And really, that's the way you get back into games. But you have to have that mental ability to do that. So we spend a lot of time talking about that and just being tough. But at the end of the day, I love watching these kids compete. I love watching some of these kids go from their freshman year, and now I have some fifth years using their COVID year. It's just amazing to see where they started and where they are now, not only as softball players, but how they've grown academically and how they've grown as human beings. So I think that's what keeps me coming back. It's pretty rewarding. And really, Dan, sometimes you can have a kid that just you think hates your guts throughout their whole career, and then you hear from them 5-10 years after they graduated, and how grateful they are for the lessons and some of the hard truths you had to help them work through about themselves to help them have that personal growth. So I think that's what's fun for me. But yeah, I'm a competitor at heart too, so that doesn't hurt.
Yeah, no, and like you said, I mean, you find out things about people and those lasting messages that you got through to them. Is there something that a coach said to you in the past, somebody, a mentor or a coach in the world of softball that stuck with you, that whether or not they thought in the moment like that you were listening or that you liked them and that you were taking it, is there something that you can go back to and say, hey, I was that player or I was that person that was maybe, in a situation in that moment where they didn't think I was listening, they didn't think I heard them, but all these years later, they were right. Like, this is something I teach my kids now. Is there something you can look back on?
Yeah, I mean, something I can actually show you. I'm a big quotes person, but my coach used to say this all the time, and it's take the high road. It's less crowded or less traveled, as she would say. And she talked a lot about character and, that it's important to pick and choose your battles, not just on the softball field, but in life. But, it can even come down to what you're focusing on in hitting. With certain skill sets, you're not going to master every single thing. So instead of worrying about what you're not great at, really make sure you're great at the things that you do tend to do really well. But she talked a lot about character development and personal integrity and those sorts of things, which are, important on the field, but much more important as you go out and branch out and live your adult life. So, I call them Elaineisms. My coach's name is Elaine Sortino, and there's a lot of little things she would say, but that one is one that's definitely stuck with me for many, many years.
Yeah, I like that, Elaineisms. But, they, like you said, and I see it, when you go into Tracey Roman's office, there's quotes everywhere, and it's very symbolic. And I do the same thing. I'm trying to think it's right here. So this one, and it's actually right in front of the picture of me with a dolphin, so it's perfect here. I can't stand the quote, "It is what it is." Because I tell people that all the time. I say, if it is what it is, there'd still be slavery. If it is what it is, then women wouldn't vote. If it is what it is, then we wouldn't even have this country right now because we would have just stayed occupied by England. So when I look at this and I see it is what it is, I got this because of the continuation of the comment. It is
Yeah.
what it is, but it will become what you make of it. See, that's people forget the second part. They say, "Oh, it is what it is. I can't change it. I walked up to it. That's what it was. That's what it's going to stay." I'm the type of person that says, "It is what it is, but it'll become what I make of it." If it's something wrong, if it's something immoral, if it's something that needs to change in some way, shape, or form, then yeah, it is what it is right now, but what can we do to make it better? I started my career on that. I started my career on why are we not covering women's athletics? I started my career on a lot of things that they were what they were, but I decided to change it. So, I'm all about the quotes. They're all over here. And there's one there, sometimes God calms the storm, other times he calms the sailor, because we're always asking God to take the storm away instead of realizing that sometimes we need the storm and he's just going to calm us to get through the thing. So I love that you're a quote person, Tracey, because we link on that so much, and you and I surround ourselves with the quotes because I think if we're being blatantly honest, we need to see them to remind us.
Yeah, I think it's important. Just to your point, it is what it is. There are so many things that we can't control, especially through this transition. I know our athletic director works very hard on, getting resources for our whole athletic department and individual programs. But right now, for example, we have to go off site to practice, and it's a 2-hour slot. And of course, no amount of practice time ever feels like it's enough for a coach. But, instead of saying it is what it is, we're trying to look at it as, okay, this is going to make us better. We're going to have to learn to be more efficient. Maybe we're not going to get 100 cuts. So we got to make sure the 25, 30, 40, 50 cuts we take are high quality cuts, because there aren't any do-overs, So I think you have to kind of see, sometimes you may not like your circumstances, but I think there's always a lesson that we're supposed to learn from difficult circumstances, but it's all in the way you approach it and what your mindset is. So I'm fortunate to just have a great group of student athletes who are extremely flexible, and they're grateful for every practice opportunity they have, and they really do the best they can with what we're provided with. So I agree with you with it is what it is, and maybe it is what it is, but what are you going to do with that?
Yeah. How are you going to change it? How are you going to react to it? What are you going to do to evolve with it? So the D1 move, you and I have talked about this a bunch. How has it gone in this transitionary period for you as a coach for this team? How have you seen the kind of journeys thus far, the steps that have been taken in the transition from Division II to Division I? It doesn't happen overnight. Some people think there's a press conference and that's it, but it's not. There's a lot of coaching that goes into it. There's a lot of work that goes into it. The schedule was just released, and we'll discuss that. But how have you seen this move, and how have you facilitated the leadership steps of preparing your team to go from Division II to Division I?
Well, really, we've tried to keep it business as usual, really, because in my opinion, we can go one of two ways with this. We can either be in awe and act like we don't belong and can't compete on this stage, or we can treat the game the same way we always have and do the very best we can to increase our skills so we're in a position to be able to compete. But I think when you start making the game harder than it is, you see this in every sport. You have a team that can be consistent all year, but they get to a playoff game and they blow it. All of a sudden, nobody can do anything. A lot of times it's because we make a game bigger than it is. So this is very similar to me, this situation. It's like our approach is the same. The game of softball doesn't change. Yeah, we're going to run into some teams that maybe have greater depth than we do right now, but that's all right. I think it's good, and I think our men's and women's basketball programs are great examples of this. They went out and they played some really tough teams early in the preseason, and it's paying off for them in conference. It's always great to get your kids to challenge themselves and see that greater level of competition and see where they stack up. And, it makes them great competitors, and it teaches them how to persevere, which I think is important. Again, not just for their time as an athlete, but later on in life. Because there's always going to be people that are better at us or do our jobs better than we do. So it's just learning how to keep getting better in whatever you're doing. So I can't say our approach has been immensely different. I'm looking to grow the pitching staff, that kind of stuff, and have more depth in different areas. But it's not like we've reworked the game plan and have our strategies changing. We're just going to prepare as we always have, and get after it and see what we can do.
Yeah, and I'm excited. It's going to be coming up very soon here. We are less than 3 weeks away of the start to the Moyne Dolphins softball season. Believe it or not, folks, I know it snowed yesterday, but we are less than 3 weeks away. Tracey Roman, the head coach of the Moyne Dolphins softball team, and here in this edition of Dolphin Dive in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership between Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, Wake Up Call, and, of course, the Moyne College Dolphins. Taking a look at this schedule, you are not going to play a home game until March 26th. So, but as it's
maybe March 26th.
maybe March 26th. Hopefully March 26th. So, but in the meantime, you are going to go to the Winthrop Eagles Classic in Rock Hill, South Carolina, Appalachian State, Winthrop, University of South Carolina, Upstate, Monmouth, and believe it or not, Binghamton too. And so kind of ironic and also cool. And I mean, at the same time, you got two schools that are an hour apart between Moyne and Binghamton, and you're both going to be traveling to Rock Hill, South Carolina, taking on each other. After that, we'll go to the spring games, and we'll be in Madera Beach, Florida, Siena College, Brown University, St. Bonaventure, another New York school, Butler, and Middle Tennessee. Then the Norfolk State Invitational in Norfolk, Virginia. Been around that area. UNLV, Youngstown State, Norfolk State, and Syracuse University will be heading to Virginia. And then you're going to be at Delaware State for a doubleheader in Dover, Delaware, and then Easton, PA against Lafayette College before we get into NEC play, which will be at St. Francis University in Loretto, Pennsylvania, and then you'll have some time against Merrimack in Massachusetts, and then hopefully we'll get to see you in the softball complex on March 26th when we have a doubleheader here at the wonderful Moyne College campus, and of course it'll be against Binghamton University. So kind of interesting and kind of poetic that you're starting on the road down in South Carolina and you're going to face Binghamton, and then your first home game is against Binghamton. So bring me into how this season looks and the fact that you will be on the road for a while, but, you know, not too shabby going to South Carolina, Virginia, and Florida as well.
Yeah, I mean, our preseason, and again, I think this is where we differ from maybe some other programs that are going through the transition. Our travel schedule is very similar to what we've always done.
Right.
You know, you can play 56 games at the Division II level as well. You can start just as early with scheduling games at the Division II level. So not much has changed there. I remember we played, I want to say around 25 games or so before we played at home last year. So again, nothing that's really out of the ordinary for us. The only thing that's really going to change with our schedule is we now have the opportunity to play non-conference games once the NEC conference play begins, which has just not been something we've been able to do in the past just because of the logistics of Division II programs. So we're really excited about that. Again, who knows if we'll get all of them in. It's going to, we need Mother Nature to cooperate, and hopefully it's been, so far it's been a mild winter, so we're grateful for that. I just hope we don't get any late February or March snowstorms. But yeah, we're really excited about the schedule. I think it's very challenging, but I think it's a schedule that we can compete within. So I think it's a great opportunity for us, and I'm excited for our kids to see that next level of play, which again, they have been exposed to that as well, because we've always played Division I teams in the fall. So I don't think we're going into this in awe of anybody. I think we're just ready to challenge ourselves and see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, you brought it up that, the schedule, even when you look at last year's schedule, very similar to what you're doing, being on the road, the places that you're going, and facing off against Division I opponents. So because you've challenged your student athletes that are returning this year to already go through this, to already start as early as they start, to already go on the road, to play in these, opportunities in different parts of the country, and to face off against Division I foes. And I know last year you played a bunch of ranked teams as well. I mean, knowing that that's happening, you kind of prepared them ahead of preparing them, which it speaks volumes again to this reality at Moyne, that Moyne coaches don't have this we were a Division II team, now we're a Division I team. There was a mentality of we're recruiting student athletes to be the best they can be, to have the best program we can have no matter what division we play in. And I think that speaks volumes to what we're talking about, because we sat on your couch and talked last year about your schedule, and I'm looking at this schedule and I'm not feeling like it's this daunting, crazy change because you challenged them last year.
Yeah, when the team gets very excited about playing ranked teams or whatever the case is. And I don't think this is going to be any different. I really believe in playing the toughest schedule we can. I think that makes us better. Now, we were a little late in the planning this year just because of the timing of the announcement, but it's a great opportunity. You get to do this once in your life. And once these 4 or 5 years are over, it's gone forever. And I don't care what level of softball you play, it will absolutely never be the same. But to be able to go out and play a competitive schedule, I think it's important from a coach's perspective that you have the support of your athletic director and your administration, because in doing so, you may not have as many wins as you might rack up putting kind of an easier schedule together that might look good on paper, but doesn't really tell much about how talented your team is. So having these kids here, I appreciate and understand it's a small piece in time that they get to do this, and I want them to be able to challenge themselves and see what they can do. So when they leave here and their career is over, they can look back and say, I got to challenge myself against some of the very best that play the game. And that's a pretty cool thing and very unique. Not many athletes get to do that. So I'm a big proponent of that, but you can't go out and play those schedules without appropriate support. If you're worried about your job over wins and losses every time you're going out there, it's hard to coach that way. But this gives us the freedom to test ourselves, provide the student athletes with an experience they'll never forget. And I think we'll win some games too. So we're really, really excited.
Yeah, and I'm definitely looking forward to this. I know you faced off against Syracuse before, but this is going to be in the heart of the season. Like you said, you could still have non-conference once you start the NEC, and you're going to be going down the road to games that count against Syracuse University, doubleheader on April 24th, a Wednesday at 2 o'clock and following at 4 o'clock. Your thoughts on that? I mean, these schools are 5 minutes apart from each other, so we know that Syracuse has been on the schedule before, but now it's a different feel. It's two Division I schools. This game, like I said, these games are going to matter. They're going to count. They're going to go to the overall of this Lemoyne squad. What are your thoughts on facing off against the Orange down the road? And also the thoughts that, maybe they could come down the road someday too and come over to Lemoyne.
Yeah, they'll be coming here next year. I mean, what softball coaches are pretty good about reciprocating. If you go there, like they came here in the fall, we'll go there in the spring, go there, meaning across the street, literally.
Yeah.
And you just keep going back and forth. But we are very fortunate to really have good partners in our neighboring Division I schools that have, they understand the situation we're in and they've welcomed us with open arms. Now, yes, we played Syracuse, Siena, Cornell, Colgate, Binghamton all in the fall. I can tell you, I think we competed well, but I know neither side was showing their entire hand.
Yeah.
Because we knew we'd be playing in the spring as well. So I think it'll be really exciting. But again, it gives us a chance to get some of these home team rivalries or, hometown rivalries. And I just think there's so many more local people around here that may have gone to Binghamton or Siena or Colgate, that might come out and cheer on their team when they otherwise maybe wouldn't have. So I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to grow the game of softball in our area locally. And it's a great opportunity. But to take on the Syracuse Orange, when I was going into college, they didn't even have a program. So I think it's really cool to have two Division I teams that can kind of face off in such a close proximity. So it'll be cool.
Yeah, and another note I want to make here, when you have that first home game that we're hoping for here, the doubleheader on March 26th, the Tuesday at 2:30 and 4:30 against Binghamton. When you are home, we're going to see Binghamton. We're going to see Central Connecticut State as well. We'll have the opportunity to see FDU come to town, and we will see Stonehill, which obviously Stonehill, a part of the NE10 in Division II, reclassifying a year before Lemoyne. So Stonehill will be coming. Colgate will be coming over to Lemoyne. St. Peter's and also getting to see Wagner coming into town as well. So just what you could say about that for the home schedule that you do have, and hopefully, like you said, God willing, we'll be able to play all these games. The St. Peter's and the Colgates and the FDUs and Binghamtons and so on and so forth. Just what that home schedule looks like to you and what you want to say to the community on why they should come out to see these home matchups.
I just think, young girls have to see it to know what they can become. And I think we're making history not just by transitioning to Division I, but I would guess, I'd have to go look at the numbers. I'd have to guess that we're slated for the most home softball games of any team that's ever played softball here at Moyne College, just because of the proximity to Division I schools. We just, like I said before, there wasn't the ability to schedule Division IIs and have so many home games. So we're going to be home almost, I would say, double compared to my first few years here. So I think that's awesome. It really gives you an opportunity to grow your fan base and have that outreach with high school programs, travel programs. I think you've seen in the past, we always have some of those youngsters out here, and we try to bring them down to the field and let them run around and take pictures with our athletes. It's a big deal to those kids to be able to see where they're trying to go. So I'm really excited to be, an ambassador for the sport in this area, as our student athletes. I think they do a phenomenal job with the young girls that come to watch our games.
Yeah, we're looking at almost 20 home games at the schedule I'm looking at right now. So very excited for that, and can't wait to see that happen. You're going to get started, like I said, in less than 3 weeks, and then home, God willing, on March 26th against Binghamton. We'll have plenty.
Less than 3 weeks. Stop reminding me.
So, Tracey, I'm very excited, and I'm so looking forward to this. I can't believe that we are almost in softball season, and and I also know, in saying that we're almost physically in the game season, softball season never stops for you. So thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for all the time that you spend, your graciousness and your kindness. You're one of the easy ones to root for. So thank you to you, and thank you to the softball team. And I'm excited about what's coming up. Have a great, I know you had some practice today. I know you got some more work to get in after our conversation, so I'll send you to it. But thank you for the work that you do, and thanks for representing our community so well.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Dan, and our student athletes, thank you. And I know their parents do as well, because they'll be all listening and watching the show also. So we appreciate the work you do for not only our program, but for Moyne Athletics. So thank you for what you do.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Fins up. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take it easy.
Take care. That coming here from Tracey Roman on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We're going to take a step aside. When we come back, we're right back on schedule here. So we're going to have the opportunity to bring you the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the fantastic team at Avicolli's. That'll be coming up here right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
us at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was, selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is the one-stop sports card shop. Folks, you need to get yourself over to GG Cards and Breaks. They are such a fantastic place to go to, whether you're someone who's collected cards your whole life like me, or you're just starting to, or maybe you just know somebody who enjoys it. You want to go in there and get them something nice for their birthday or whatever it may be, or just surprise them with something. My mom always did that. My mom would just randomly go somewhere. She'd be like running around, doing a bunch of things for our family. And she'd come home. She'd say, "Hi, sweetheart. How are you doing? How are you doing?" And I said, "Good, Mom." She said, "I got you peanut butter." I said, "Thanks, Mom." She said, "I got you some juice." I said, "Thanks, Mom. I appreciate that." And then she'd have something behind her back. She'd pull her hand out and she'd go, "And I got you this pack of cards. I love you. I hope you get something good." Those memories you never forget. And you can do that at GG Cards and Breaks. Now, my mom did that when I was a kid. Now I'm 38 years old at the time we're talking right now. And my mom went over to GG Cards and Breaks, and she got me something. I remember one day we were in there together. She was on one part of the store, I was in another part. She walked over to me. She put her hand down, and she had packs under it. I said, "What's this?" She goes, "Open them." I said, "Ma, you didn't have to do it." She goes, "I know." But she loves doing it. Still to this day. GG Cards and Breaks, those memories that you have with the people that you love that say, "Hey, I was thinking of you. You matter to me. I wanted to do something nice for you." Just because. It's a Tuesday. Hey, I want to do this for there. I want to do this for you. And I get to pay that forward now with my godson, with my friends, with my parents, my buddy Johnny. Big Detroit Lions fan. I opened the most recent box break that I did. I got a Matt Stafford and a Jared Goff in the same pack, and I said, "These are going to Johnny." We love sports, right? That's why you guys are here. That's why you're watching. That's why you're listening. Well, you can connect with your favorite teams and your favorite players through collecting sports cards. And it might sound like such a simple thing, right? But it's such a beautiful thing, and it has so many memories and so many great people connected to it, and people show up for it. And it's such an easy way to show somebody, hey, I thought about you today, and I wanted to do this. And this world is such a better place when we think about each other and we do the little things, right? Even when somebody says, I'm going to the sports card shop, and they go, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with you. I'm going to spend some time with you there today. I love going into GG Cards and Breaks because they're different. Josh and Anthony, Alex, Joel, and the whole team, they bring a different vibe. That's why I go there. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave. I've been a sports card collector, like I said, my whole life. But I go to GG Cards and Breaks on purpose all the time because I care about the people there. And I like giving back to people that get it, people that care, and people that treat you like you matter. Because you do. They're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. They have trade night throughout the year. You can always stay close to our social media to find out when it's coming up next. We had a fantastic record-setting trade night at the Wildcat Sports Pub recently, and we thank you all for showing up to that. GG Cards and Breaks. Find out more at ggcardsandbreaks.com. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, it's time to jump into the ingredients to success. The ingredients to success, a long-standing segment here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And that is not a random picture of pizza. Those aren't slices I found online. I took that picture when I was on site, on location at Avicolli's. The Meat Lovers is on the right side. On the left side is arguably my favorite pizza there. It's a cross between the barbecue chicken, which they didn't have at the time that I took this picture. It's something that they created. The barbecue chicken pizza, or that one that you're seeing there on the left side, the margarita pizza. I love the food at Avicolli's. I love the service at Avicolli's. I love the way the people treat you. Like I said, folks, I don't work with businesses for the sake of working with businesses. I work with businesses with people that I enjoy being around, people that I know are working hard, and people that I know care about you, care about the people that work with them, and care about this community. So it means the world to me to work with so many wonderful businesses that we have formed this Wake Up Call team with. And one of those wonderful businesses is Avicolli's. Being able to work with them in this community that we have formed means a lot to me. And I implore you to go over there. They've been in our community for many decades, and they have wonderful, wonderful food, and they're just a special place. So they bring us the ingredients to success every single Tuesday to round out our Tuesday broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. And I give you a topic each week inside of the ingredients to success, and then we discuss that topic. Well, the ingredients to success, I would tell you, let's stick with something that has been on my mind today. When people don't treat you right, what do you do? When people don't treat you right, how do you react? Do you eye for an eye? Do you say, okay, you treated me wrong, so now I'm going to treat you wrong. You made me cry, so now I'm going to make you cry? Because that doesn't do anything. All that does is create more bullies in this world, which is, I can tell you for a fact, is something that we don't need. We don't need bullies. And bullies are just people that are unhappy. Bullies are people that are hurting other people because they're hurting. There's no bully out there that's like, no, my life is great. I just like to push people down. I like to put people in their lockers. I like to spit on people. You know, I've gone through that. I've had somebody spit on me before. I was in elementary school. Kid told me that I was in his seat, and it obviously wasn't his seat. You know, or how can you even claim a seat? But, you know, he was older. He said it was his seat. I didn't want to get up. I was tired. I had a bunch of my books. So I sat down. I was in the back of the bus, sitting on the side. And he went and spit right on my pants. And I rode home looking away in the distance, looking down at my pants. Looking away in the distance, looking down at my pants. And I thought, how do you spit on somebody? How do you become such a barbaric subhuman and spit on somebody? And yeah, I don't even think barbarian's a nice thing. Subhuman makes more sense. So when people do these things, in that moment, right, there's a part of you that's like, oh, I'm going to spit back. Oh, I'm going to fight. I'm going to say something about their mom. I'm going to da-da-da-da-da. And what's that going to do? Because then you have spit on your pants, and now you're also not a nice person. So what do we do in these moments? What do we do in moments when somebody doesn't respect us, doesn't respect our family, doesn't respect the person that we're dating, doesn't respect what we do for a living? What do we do when somebody tries to put us down and does something that's hurtful, shameful, disgraceful, negative? What do we do? How do we react? It's hard to react, right? It's hard to know exactly what to do. Because nobody wants to be hurt. Not even that bully. Nobody wants to be hurt. Nobody wants to go through this pain, this feeling of somebody doesn't respect you, somebody doesn't like you, somebody doesn't care about you. Nobody wants to feel that way. But it happens. Now that person probably has long forgotten that happened. I never forgot it because thankfully, it's the only time I've been spit on, and I would prefer to not be spit on ever again. I think a lot of people go most of their lives without being spit on, if not all of their lives, and I think we all should go all of our lives without being spit on because it is one of the most disgraceful things that a human being can ever do. It is a massive sign of disrespect, and it's a showcasing of somebody who has not evolved into a true human being and understanding what that means. So it's hurtful. You want to react. I think about it today, and, there's a part of me that's like, oh, I want to say their name and be like, that person's a jerk. But what does that do? Maybe they've changed. Maybe they're better. Maybe they felt bad about it that day. But you can't sit here and think about what are they doing? How are they reacting? Do they care? That's inconsequential. You can only decide what you're going to do. So do you spit back? I would say no. Okay? Because that's just more gross and it's more barbaric and it's more, I'm not barbaric, like I said, more subhuman, more animalistic. Some people would say, Dan, I would fight. I'd scrap it, knock their face off, right? There's people that talk like that. And I'd say to myself, okay, but what does that do? You hurt them, they hurt you. They hurt you, you hurt them. How does that make it any better? Forms a grudge, forms hate. Now they want to get back at you. Now the people that love them want to get back at you. Now you can't go downtown because this person's going to do that, or you can't go to this city because this person's going to do that, or you can't go to this place. No. I had somebody tell me recently, they're like, oh yeah, I broke up with this person. I can't go to this part of the city. And I thought to myself, why would you ever let somebody own a part of a city? Go where you want to go. Why would you live in fear? I've had somebody tell me that before. They broke up with someone and they go, now I can't show my face in the city. I can't go around anywhere because they know too many people. Are you ashamed of what you've done? I mean, why would you hide? I would never let anybody tell me, you can't walk down that road. You can't sit there. You can't do this. You can't do that. I don't respond well to that. So what are our ingredients to success? If we're not going to turn around and hit somebody, if we're not going to spit back, if we're not going to say mean things, then what are we going to do? What are you and I going to do? How are we going to fix this situation? Right? Well, I would tell you to first understand that happy people don't spit on people. That kind people, that people that are happy in their own lives, they don't do these things. Hate doesn't come from a place of love because they're polar opposites. Hate does not come from a place of respect and kindness and generosity and equality. Hate comes from a place of hate. Right? What did Martin Luther King say? Darkness cannot get rid of darkness, only light can. Hate cannot get, more hate on top of hate cannot get rid of love. Only love can. Or pardon me, hate can't get rid of hate. Only love can. And I'm paraphrasing, but I mean, you know the quote, or if you don't, I mean, definitely look it up and understand that. I'll say it again. Darkness cannot destroy darkness. It cannot defeat darkness. Only light can. Hate cannot defeat hate. Only love can. So when somebody spits on you, yells at you, disrespects you in any way, shape, or form, on social media, to your face, behind your back, how do you deal with it? You deal with it by being yourself. You deal with it by continuing to move forward. The worst thing that you could do to someone who is bullying you, shaming you, disrespecting you, degrading you, is to continue to move forward like you don't even see it. Like it's not even happening. It's not you being complicit with it. It's not you saying that you're okay with it. It's you saying, it's not going to bother my day. See, I pray for the people, and these people don't know this, but I pray for the people that have done me dirty. I pray for them. Because I don't want them to do it to anybody else. Obviously, something inside of them is not happy. And they're taking it out on, most times, a perfect stranger. The majority of people that have ever disrespected, degraded, or treated me poorly, they don't even know me that well. They don't even know my middle name. So how can you really care about the opinion of somebody, too, that doesn't even know you? But then let's go to the people that do know you. Let's go to the people that are around you and they do know you. What if somebody like that degrades you? What if it's your mom? What if it's your dad? What if it's your husband or wife, your fiance, your boyfriend, your girlfriend? If your boyfriend or your girlfriend degrades you, get out of the relationship. If your husband or wife degrades you, and I'm talking about consistently, I'm not talking about, this person made a mistake and they said something. If somebody degrades you and puts you down, get out of that relationship. Why would you work for a boss that degrades you and disrespects you and puts you down? Why would you date somebody that does that? Why would you stay married to somebody that does that? Why would you be around that? When you say, Dan, it's family. Doesn't matter. My Aunt Mary, she's my other mom, call her my other mama. Miss Aunt Mary, she told me a long time ago, if a person hands you poison, it doesn't matter who it comes from. So some people go, well, my mom handed me poison. I got to drink it. It's my mom. And she goes, it's still going to kill you. If your girlfriend hands you poison, it's still going to kill you. If a stranger hands you poison, it's still going to kill you. So why are we living in a world where we say it's okay if our family does it, if our friends do it, if our significant other does it, if our boss does it? It's okay because it's not a stranger. If it was a stranger, then we would deal with it differently. I had somebody in my family tell me before, they said you have to accept the disrespect of your family, but you don't have to accept the disrespect of a friend. And I didn't get that. They said you have to accept the disrespect of a family member, but you do not accept the disrespect of a friend. You have the right to kick a friend out if they disrespect you or the people that you love, but you do not have the right to kick out your family if they disrespect you or somebody that you love, because they're your family, they're your blood. My rebuttal to that is anyone who disrespects me or someone that I love does not deserve to be in the room. Shouldn't, and I don't like the word deserve, but they shouldn't be in that room. They've lost the right to be in that room. Let's say that. Because I don't see things differently. I don't see a family member degraded my girlfriend. A friend degraded my girlfriend, so I have every right to tell that friend we're not friends anymore, but I still have to accept that person into my family. My family, the people I consider to be my family, are the people that respect me, respect my dreams and my desires and my goals. Because I'm not hurting anybody going after this stuff. I'm not lying, cheating, stealing to get to where I want to get to. And I pride myself on not only chasing my dreams, but doing it with morals and values and God above everything. If you don't support what I do, you're not family. If you don't love me and care about me, and I'm not saying you don't give me constructive criticism, but I'm saying if you don't love me and care about me, we're not family. See, your family, folks, the people that really truly love you, they're going to love you when you're up. They're going to love you when you're down. They're going to be there for you no matter what is going on. They're not going to show up when things are great. They're not going to show up to take pictures of you when you're famous. They're going to be with you in the trenches. My true family are the people that have seen me cry, seen me scream, seen me yell, seen me say, I don't know what to do next. And they said, I'm here. They didn't walk out. They put their hand on my back. They prayed with me. They sat with me. Those are your people. So what do we do with these other people? Be it family, be it a significant other, be it a boss, be it a total stranger, be it a friend. What do we do when somebody does us dirty? When somebody disrespects us, puts us down, hurts us? What do we do? Well, number one, you pray. You pray that God will help you and guide you through it and guard you from this stuff. Guard you from it and guide you through it. Guard you from letting this stuff come in and seep into your soul and cause you pain, and guide you out of it. Guide you to be above it. Guide you to know how to handle it as you step forward. You ask for God to put the armor on you to help you to deal with the enemy, and you pray for those people. You pray for those people. You don't just pray for yourself. You pray for those people because those people are broken. And I don't say that as a dig. Those people are broken. If I was making fun of people, I would have to admit to myself that I'm a little broken. There's something wrong with me, right? If I see, listen to what I said to Gabby earlier in the show. I said, I love seeing you and your wife. I love seeing the love that you have for each other because it makes me believe that it's out there. I'm not jealous of it. I don't go, okay, they get to be happy. I don't get to be happy. No, I say, that's a beautiful thing. I hope I have love someday that is beautiful and uplifts somebody else. When you're around people and you see their love and it puts a tear in your eye and in a happy way, it uplifts you. When you see that happy tear, I think to myself, man, I hope somebody can see my love for someone else someday and it can make them cry a happy tear and say, man, I hope I have that someday. See, happy people are not evil. People that are chasing their dreams and going after what they want with morals and values, you're not morals and values here and not morals and values over there. And people they've tried to make me believe this for many years, but it's not true. You can't be good to one person and bad to another and be like, well, I'm still a good person. You can't have morals and values in this part of your life and then over here, they're absent. You cannot pick and choose where you're good. Pick and choose who you're nice to. Pick and choose your kindness. And that's what people don't understand. When I don't talk to somebody, it's not that I'm not a nice person. If I'm deliberately not speaking to someone, it's because they've done or said something, or both, that was really hurtful and disrespectful and unkind, and they think that I don't know it, but I know it. Because I would talk to anybody. That's how I've always been. I'll go into a room and talk to anybody. But if you make fun of me and you joke about me and you disrespect me, I will pray for you. I had a grown man that was old enough to be my dad tell me multiple times, I make fun of you. I want you to know that I make fun of you. Now, this person sounds like a lunatic to go up to the person they're making fun of and say, hey, total stranger. I don't even know this guy's name. Hey, total stranger. I just want you to know that I make fun of you and I enjoy it, and my friends make fun of you and they love when I make fun of you with them. And what this person failed to realize was we had exchanged business cards. Theirs went in the garbage. Don't know their name. Don't have their number. Don't care. Now, I pray for that person. I shouldn't say I don't care because I care about everybody, but I don't care about the situation. I pray for that person, but if I walk into a room and I don't talk to you now, it's not because I'm rude. It's not because of an eye for an eye. It's because I know your character. I know who you've chosen to be. And I know that something inside of this man is not happy. Something inside of this man is broken because no one tries to push another down unless they feel like they need something to pick themselves up. And what I would tell this man, or tell any man or woman, is when you push somebody down to stand on their back, if that person allows you to do that, which I don't, if someone allows you to stand on their back, you have to understand something. Eventually those people stand up, and eventually you fall off. You can never build a life, good morning to my mom, you can never build a life on the back of somebody else. You think you can, and you say, Dan, I have examples of people who have, and I promise you that God, the God I believe in, will never allow that person's home to stand forever on the backs of other people. Because God does not herd his children like cattle and ask them to be stood on. I don't think there's anywhere in the Bible where God says, I want you to be stood on, stepped on, disgraced, spit on, disapproved of, pushed down, berated, threatened, yelled at, abused verbally, physically, emotionally, sexually, in any way, shape, or form. I don't think there's anywhere in the Bible where God says, I want you to allow yourself to be treated subhuman by another human because you're not important. God says that everyone is important. God sits with sinners, and God breaks bread with sinners, and God wants sinners to come back to him. So what do we do when the world is mean? When people are rude? It's the age-old question of 38 years of my life. Mom, Dad, somebody was mean to me. I'm nice to everybody. Why would somebody be mean to me? I'm nice to everybody. If I have nothing nice to say, I don't say anything at all. Shout out Bambi. I learned that. You pray for yourself to get through this. You pray for that person to get through whatever they're going through. Because, again, happy people, content people, people that are bringing good into the world are not also bringing bad into the world. You cannot do both. You know, yeah, okay, I'm good to my wife and I'm kind to my wife, but I steal money in my business. You can't, I mean, I guess you can be good to your wife and steal money, but you can't say I'm a good person some of the time. I'm a really good husband, but I literally steal from thousands of people daily. You either are or you aren't. You're either a lover or a hater. You can't be a love hater or a hate lover, because there's a movie that I saw, I think it was a Snow White live action movie, but there was a movie that I saw, and go with me on this for a second. They took, the whole thing about Snow White is that I think this evil queen, she wanted her to hate. Like, she wanted her to have like just a little bit of hate in her heart. So they showed this white, pure heart. And they took the hate, and it was a drop of ink, like black ink. And they dropped the ink in there. And so you see all this white, and you see this one drop of black ink. And you think to yourself, that's not much, it's just a drop. What happens to one drop? If you took any type of dye and you dropped it into water, the water is pure, right? You could see through it, clear of any of this stuff. When you drop that in, what happens eventually? When you walk away and you come back a little bit later, that entire cup is the color of the dye you dropped in it. One drop of hate blackens an entire heart, because you cannot hate and love at the same time. So my advice to you is, when you're going through these situations that are very difficult, pray, seek God, go to church or temple or synagogue, seek to hear the word of God, because I promise you that from my understanding in my religion, the Bible speaks to me many times. I just went to church this past Sunday, and the sermon was like God looking at me going, hi, this is what I need you to know. And that's happened to me many times. So I would say pray, Seek God. Go to temple, go to synagogue, go to church, wherever you go. Go to see a therapist. Consult somebody outside of yourself. Go to a room and put some music on or sit in quiet and just meditate. Allow yourself to breathe. Focus on your breath. I'm telling you things that are going to you're going to need to do something. See, people want quick fix. We're that pill popping society, right? I'm 400 pounds. I want to take a pill and be 200. Why can't I do that? Right? I don't like the way I look, so I'm going to go get plastic surgery, and I'm going to change the scope of everything. I'm going to change my nose. I'm going to change my eyebrows. I'm going to change my hairline. I'm going to color my hair. I'm going to do all this stuff because I think that people will like me better. We live in a society of, I want a quick fix. I want to just change things that I don't like. Well, being someone who knows that when you just want something to happen overnight and that doesn't work and you have to put the work in and you live through putting the work in and seeing the fruits of your labor, I can tell you that the only way to sustain a positive lifestyle is to live one every day. You cannot walk one time in a year and say, I'm going to lose weight and look awesome. You got to walk all the time. You cannot pray once and say, God's going to give me what I want and I never have to pray again. You have to pray all the time. Now, he might answer that prayer that day, but you have to keep that open dialogue and conversation with God. Because if you were there for your friend one time, see, people think about it. When I need God, I'll just go find him. Do you think your friends would be friends with you if that was the case? You treat God like that? Would you treat your friends like that? Would you treat your spouse like that? Hey, I only go to my spouse when I need something. I only call my aunt when I need money. Don't you think that aunt after a while is going to catch on to what you're doing? And as much as they love you, she might not want to talk to you because she knows every time she picks up the phone, it's not going to ask about her day or how she's doing. You're asking her for money. She is only an ATM. So pray, go to church or temple or synagogue, meditate, think, walk, write. Try a bunch of different things and see what works for you. This world is not meant to be easy, but there's a quote that I put up on my story on Instagram, and you can follow me at wakeupcall_DT, and you can also find us on X at CallDT and Facebook at wakeupcallDT. It says, Jesus says in John chapter 16, verse 33, "These things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation. But be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. These things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace," Jesus said. "In the world you will," not you might, not you could, "you will have tribulation. But be of good cheer, I have overcome the world." So you have to believe in God to go with me on this. You have to believe in yourself to go with me on this. You have to want good for yourself to go with me on this. But I'm telling you right now, this world will never stop trying to hurt you. It will never stop. It will love you, and it will hurt you. And there was something else I put up before. It said, if you are not driven by the applause of people, you will not be pained by their silence. If you are not driven by the applause of people, if I don't come on this show for you to all tell me how great I am, then I will not be saddened, depressed, suicidal, or downtrodden when you do not clap, when you don't tell me I'm awesome. What that's saying is when the world praises you, if you live for the praise, if you have to have the praise to exist, You've given that control to the world that the moment that they don't give you praise, you are now on your deathbed. So understand that this world will do this forever. The world will hurt you. People will let you down. Things will not go right. There will be storms. So my ingredients to success for you in dealing with the wobbly, wibbly world of up and down and around the corner is to love God, pray, meditate, sit, listen to music, go for a walk, be with your dog, be with your cat, be with your bird, celebrate your life. Understand human beings were not put on this earth to make you happy. Everybody has a choice. God is a perfect being, and human beings disrespect God. You're not a perfect being. Why do you think that you're going to be treated better than perfection? If perfection cannot be treated perfectly, why would imperfection be treated perfectly? Pray, go do things that you enjoy, do things that make you happy, that aren't hurting people, right? Go do things that make you happy. Celebrate your freedom. Not everybody in this world has freedom. Freedom is a God-given right that human beings took away from each other. Enjoy the freedom that you have to open your door and get in your car and drive wherever you want to drive. There's not someone at the end of your street going, do you have your papers to go on to the next street? You can drive where you want to drive, go where you want to go. You can go out. You can walk outside right now, and if you're in a wheelchair, you can still go down the street. You could still take that walk down the street in your wheelchair. You could still go down there like that. You can go in your wheelchair. You can go on foot. You have the opportunity to walk outside today, to be in your wheelchair outside today, to be on your crutches outside today, and you can go. When I was on my crutches, I went out and did things. When I was in a wheelchair, when I injured my knee, I went to Disney World, and I scooted myself all around Disney World all day long by myself. Nobody was there. It wasn't as hot, which was nice, but I'm out there in the sun. I got nobody's help, no one to push me. I have to go miles in this wheelchair with my hands and my belief in myself and God above all. I look back on that day and I think about that and I'm exhausted thinking about that because mind over matter. When you tell yourself I can do it, you can do it. So go out there. And if somebody spits on you, yells at you, says bad things about you, degrades, defames, defaces, talks badly about you, spreads rumors about you, they are broken. It is not your problem to fix them. And it is not you to allow them to break you. A broken lamp seeks to break all the lamps, sometimes instead of fixing itself. Because if all the lamps are broken, we are all equal. Right? A broken lamp in a room of beautiful, bright, shining lamps doesn't like it because it reminds that lamp that it's broken. Think about that the next time somebody does something to you. A broken lamp does not want to be in a room of fully together, bright, shining lamps because it reminds the lamp it's broken. But if the lamp can break all the lamps in the room, the lamp is no better off, but now the lamp doesn't see any brightness. The lamp is not bothered by the shine of anybody else when you allow that lamp to break you. Don't allow a lamp to break itself. Don't allow your lamp to be broken, I should say. Don't allow someone's brokenness to break you so that now two people are broken on the floor. It is not your problem that they can't deal with your shine. You pray for those people. You pray for those people because they are lost. You pray that they find themselves. You pray that they find God. You pray that they find direction. A broken lamp is not your problem. But you also do not need to become a problem because of the brokenness of that lamp. Love yourself. Pray for them. Stay away from negativity. and help where you can. We'll take our final step aside. This has been the Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by the fantastic team at Avicolli's. You can find them by going to 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, right on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road. Tuesday through Sunday, they are closed on Mondays for lunch, dinner, and drinks. As always, drink responsibly, and you can get them for takeout, delivery, and catering by calling 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100 for Avicolli's. Avicolli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicolli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicolli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, here where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Once the shows go live, they jump to the archives on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Podbean itself has over 1,600 episodes of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can find us by going to any one of these outlets and simply searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Visit our incredible partners in central and upstate New York at Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, GG Cards and Breaks, PB&J's Lunchbox, Avicolli's, Great Lakes Honda City, Pizza Man, Mother's Cupboard, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, and we are proud to be the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Moyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Dolphins on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time during Dolphin Time, the first and third Wednesday of each month with AD and DT, featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. The second and fourth Wednesday of each month, the Dolphin Dive, diving into stories of student athletes, coaches, future Dolphins, and alumni, as well as administration. You can find all of that, all of our Dolphin Dive, AD and DT, and all of our Lemoyne specials by simply going to our YouTube channel, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. You can also find the Dolphins on wakeupcalldt.com underneath the exclusive partners tab. And of course, we underpromise, overdeliver, as you had a Dolphin Dive here on a Tuesday, and we do things all throughout the year. So stay very close to everything we're doing to find out more about your Dolphins in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with a fantastic Jesuit institution with wonderful morals and values where greatness meets goodness. So very much appreciate the Dolphins. Find out more by going to LeMoyneDolphins.com. And as always, Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can find your Bobcats every single month throughout the year on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with conversations with student athletes, coaches, and administration. The Bobcats going to national championship opportunities in men's and women's basketball in their young careers as programs here. Fantastic work by men's and women's basketball to do everything they've done. The men's and women's soccer teams at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse have both won national championships, and they're right here on James Street in Syracuse, New York. The baseball team is coming off their inaugural season and the fantastic efforts of Sean Peake and his entire crew, and a big time ups to the esports that is growing at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse as well. The Bobcat Buzz comes to you every single month with a spotlight on the Bobcats you won't find anywhere else, and tremendous stories to be told. And I'm so grateful to everybody that allows me the opportunity to tell your stories and share that. The Bobcats have people from all over the world that come to Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. Going to Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse is literally like seeing the world right here in Syracuse, New York, sitting at a table with student athletes from 4 different countries. 4 student athletes, 4 different countries, all sitting there learning about them, their culture, their food, their background, how they ended up at Bryan and Stratton. The stories we get to tell in the Bobcat Buzz are something that I truly am grateful for and thankful to God for every single day. You can find your Bobcats by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Hit the notification bell. You can see their playlist, the BSC Syracuse Bobcats, on our YouTube channel. And of course, you could find them on wakeupcalldt.com underneath the exclusive partners tab, wakeupcalldt.com. Going right under exclusive partner, you'll find Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. And of course, for more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. As always, go Bobcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday. As I said, we always go past 11 o'clock. Might as well say that we're 9 to noon, but I thank you all for being here. Thank you so much on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT, and a big time thanks inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin' to my wonderful guests, Gabby Holko, Susquehanna Riverhawks women's basketball head coach, having a terrific season and hoping that this hopeful season is record-setting and continues on into the postseason. Very much excited in 17 days to have our Lemoyne softball season start, the first season for them in Division I. Tracey Roman talking with us about the press box, the schedule release, and everything that is to come. Big time shout and recruiting. Big time shout out to Tracey Roman in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Lemoyne, and of course spotlighting the Lemoyne Dolphins softball team with head coach Tracey Roman. And a big thanks to the Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by Avicolli's. Head there for lunch, dinner, and drinks. And as always, drink responsibly. With that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you stay safe, stay warm. And as always, folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for spreading love. Go out and do nice things. Remember to pray for those that hurt you and hurt others, because there's something inside of them that is screaming out for help. So pray for them, be there for them as best you can, and remember to love yourself and be there for yourself. Don't ever let anyone take your shine. A broken lamp should not break you. Keep shining brightly. In a room of broken lamps and a room of bright shining lamps, whatever room you're in, take care of your lamp, take care of your light.